All right, y'all, welcome into LA Sports Brotherhood. It's me, Ryan, here with my brother Matthew. And just to get ahead of everything, if you are a fan of a different team clicking because you saw Juan Soto in the title, or you're a Dodger fan that does not want the Juan Soto on the team, let me just say, we are answering the Juan Soto question as it pertains to the Dodgers, but I do not think that he will be here. I want to maybe put that clear. I don't think this is a real possibility, but it's impossible to ignore that the Dodgers name will be included in all the stakes, all the sweepstakes reporting, and frankly, it should be. Now, before we get into like the granular what it would mean for the lineup, whatever, Matt, I'm going to pose this very simple question to you. Take it however you want. If Juan Soto says, "I want to go to the Dodgers," will you want him on the team?
Absolutely. I mean, the guy's a generational talent. I know we love Teoscar, and we just won the World Series. This team means so much to all of us, but Juan Soto is genuinely a generational talent. There's not a guy in the league better at knowing the strike zone. He has always been great, and I mean, he's a superstar. We have three of them already. Superstars will win you big games, will win you World Series championships. And so obviously I'd welcome a guy like Juan Soto. And like you said, probably not going to happen, but hey, I mean, back in 2022, I'm sure we thought, yeah, Freddie Freeman to the Dodgers, that's not going to happen. And it ended up happening. And I think it'd be similar to that signing where like we weren't with Shohei, it was all hands on deck. We are the favorites, we're bidding high. Freddie, we kind of were just waiting and waiting and waiting. No one signed him. We were like, okay, I mean, let's take the MVP. It'd be kind of similar to that with Soto, but yeah, like you said, you know, we're not the favorites for Soto right now. It's going to be a huge New York bid. I can't wait to see it. But what do you think? I'm assuming you want Soto. I mean, obviously, who wouldn't want Soto?
Yeah.
What price, like what number that he says, let's say it's 600 million, at what point does the number get too high? We're saying, nah, we're good. Like, we're okay.
Okay, I have two answers. I think for the Dodgers, like independent of my beliefs, I don't actually think it's going to be a money value. It's going to be a years thing. I think Soto's going to ask for 12 at the very least, probably 15, honestly, and that'll be up to 600, maybe. I'm going to say anywhere from 550 to 650 million dollars, which is psychotic. Um I don't it's not my money. They made 10 trillion dollars this year. I hope they spend a bunch of money at all over the place. The only thing for me that would stop, say, like, I'll answer this and then throw the question to you. If they say, if they make it a false dichotomy where it's we signed Soto and don't do anything else really except maybe like retain Kike or whatever, like smaller money moves, or it's Teoscar and a starter and XYZ and like kind of building out more. That's where I would it's tough saying that I'm gonna pass on Juan Soto, but that it's like if that's the way they present it, where it's Soto restricts spending money on everything else, that's where I would pass on him. So in that type of scenario, Matt, what would you go?
Yeah, so if you tell me you can get Soto, or you can get Teoscar, Bueller back, Kike back, and Corbin Burns and Max Fried, and maybe Adames, I would go with that second option with Teoscar and then the star pitcher with either Fried or Burns. Because, I mean, that if we lost the World Series this year, we wouldn't have said we need another bat. We would have said we need another arm.
Yeah.
And a guy like Burns or Fried could really help us out. And, like, I mean, we had literally the best offense in the sport last year. That's not even debatable. You keep the length, you keep the star and fan favorite in Teoscar, and then you get better with the pitching staff. Maybe you get better with Willy Adames. I take that, like, addressing the whole team rather than the one star because we do have enough star power. We have three MVPs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I think with the way I look at all free agency stuff, I'm sure the way everyone looks at it is just like if you plug in the players into the lineup, because we're talking offense here, does a lineup look stronger with Teoscar and someone like Willie Adames, who we've been heavily rumored to be in on for a while now, or are you plugging Teoscar's spot with Juan Soto and being like, okay, we have three of the top five players in baseball hitting 1, 2, 3, and like it's very difficult for me to not take that. It's like I don't even know how to ask the question. Is Juan Soto worth like a Teoscar and Willie Adames type piece? It's tough.
Yeah, it is really tough. I think, I mean, realistically, if you like take the Dodgers away from it and how like beloved Teoscar Hernandez is, I don't know if Willie Adames and Teoscar Hernandez versus Juan Soto by himself. I really don't even know. Honestly, it may be Juan Soto, but in the case of the Dodgers, it may be Adames and Teoscar because what won us this World Series was our depth. So
Yeah.
if you put Teo would stay at 4 and you have Willie Adames 6, Smith 8, I mean that's ridiculous. It gets even deeper. So for the Dodgers, maybe it is Adames and Teoscar.
Yeah, because the
And by the way, it'd also be a lot cheaper and a lot less years.
yeah.
And you could spend that money. So I think it's close enough to have 2 versus 1, and then you could still get a pitcher like Burns or Fried.
Yeah. I am hoping that because we're not gonna I don't think we're signing Soto. I will say I woke up this morning very weirdly. Just I've had this little like feeling in the back of my head like I don't know, something feels like Soto's gonna be a Dodger. Like it felt weird. I don't think it's happening, but I don't know. We're World Series champs. It's time for extreme optimism in all cases. But I I framed this with Juan Soto in mind, but the reality is, if you're listening to this and actually looking at the screen, you can see the question is, what is the your ideal outfield for 2025? And I think the question's important because the Dodgers have a great farm system, but very little of their highest ranking prospects are actually outfield prospects. Dalton Rushing's a great hitter, and they put him in left field, and he continued to rake, but the the future of the Dodgers outfield is in a very weird situation, honestly, because they're trying to move Mookie Betts in to second base like full time. Tommy Edman, well, obviously we love him, but he's very likely going to be the long term shortstop or long term Chris Taylor type role because I don't think they're going to let him walk without extending him. And that leaves us with Andy Pajes, James Outman, like currently not. I'm not going to even count Teoscar because he's not signed. We have Rushing, Pajes, Outman, Mookie, and half of Tommy. Like that. The outfield was our weakness all year, and then we moved Mookie back out there, and it kind of solidified. But I still like. I think we really have to address outfield offense, and that's kind of where I think Juan Soto and Teoscar like really becomes the biggest questions.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. I think no matter what we do, the move we make will address that.
Yeah,
Because realistically, even Willie Adames addresses that because he would be our shortstop, and Edmund can play outfield,
it's true.
Lux at second, and Mookie stays back there, and then that's kind of a Teoscar, Edmund, Mookie, Pius can get some bats there, and that's a pretty solid outfield. Obviously, Soto addresses it. Obviously, Teoscar addresses it. I think the infield's kind of set. I mean, the corners and the catchers set. So yeah, I think we have a very versatile. I mean, think about it. Edmund and Mookie can both play short, second, and outfield. It's pretty wild. So I think no matter what we do, we will shore up that the outfield, even if it means signing a shortstop to move to Edmund back to center and keep Mookie at right.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely, obviously, as we've talked about many times, full trust in Freeman and Gomez. Like they're going to make the right move. It's just I really like thinking about it. We both do, obviously. This will I'll cut this thought short because I do think it's worth a whole its own entire video. But I do think these moves, as you because like you said, Willie Adames technically does shore up our outfield because it moves Tommy to center field. But like they really want Mookie to be a second baseman long term. They don't want him in the outfield anymore, despite his great defense. It's just he's here for 10 more years. Like the contract's super long. They want to keep him as healthy as possible. Gavin Lux kind of doesn't have a position right now. I mean, he's a second baseman, but Rojas is back, Barnes is back. I'm gonna operate as if Kike is going to be coming back. If not, they're gonna have someone like him still on the roster. Chris Taylor's still on the roster, so that's 4 bench spots. And we know they will absolutely bring in at least one player. Willie Adames, it seems like they're leaking like actual contract numbers big enough to kind of make me shake my head. But I don't know. A lot of this hinges on Gavin Lux and what they want from him. I think there's a real chance he's traded this offseason, honestly, because he's kind of just in the way. And I guess I'll throw that thought to you. Just like the not just Gavin Lux, but all of the like bench player level players slash fringe starters like him and them. What would you want to do with them? Are we trying to keep the good vibes, or how are we adjusting that? Do you think?
I think ahead of good vibes is putting together the best team you can. So if Lux has to go, I really like Lux. I mean, we watched him kind of grow into the player he is today. But if it means we're getting better, then he has to go. And I've been thinking about this a lot because a lot of people are worried like is Kike gone? Because there really isn't a lot of spots. When we
Yeah.
know Taylor's back and we know Miggy Rowe is coming back for another year, a lot of people went to like is Kike gone? Like what's gonna happen? And I do think that Lux would be the odd man out. I agree with that. So it is tough. I mean, if you trade him and we get Adamas, we really aren't going to miss anything. And it sucks to say because I do like Lux a lot, but realistically, what are you losing in that situation?
Yeah.
So I'm not opposed to trading Gavin Lux.
Yeah, it's definitely a like a clear upgrade, but you just feel bad. You feel the good thing is that he won a championship. Like, yeah, he was a starter on the team, so he fulfilled his role. But yeah, that again, I think there's a lot more time for expanding on that topic later. We just wanted to get ahead of the Soto ideas because free agency is like officially starting. We're recording on the Monday that the little dead period ended. So yeah, we're ready to come back on here at any time. Hopefully, talking about a Walker Bueller and Tasker Hernandez re-signing. Maybe we're getting lucky and we're signing Max Fried or Corbin Burns or any number of these guys. We didn't even talk about Jack Flaherty, who is one of the top line available here. That's our own free agent technically. But yeah, so we have a bunch of stuff to go over. Please let us know in the comments if you like how you feel about Soto and Teoscar and what moves you think are made. Because this is a really divisive topic among Dodger fans, surprisingly. So yeah, let us know what you think. Go Dodgers. We'll be back soon. Peace.